And we are back. Once again, my friends, my name is Robert Antoine, along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
Hashtag Conversation Starters
Live.
Yes, yes, yes. Once again, my friends, we are so happy that you tuned in to the #1 entertainment platform in the world. And it's not because of us, but it's because of you, because of your hearts, because of your sharing, because you like it so much. We just want you to continue to love and pay it forward. Tell a friend, tell your mama and them that Conversation Starters Live is on, along with the lovely Constance Carter and that other dude named Rob. So what's going on today, Constance? You're looking lovely as always.
Oh, I sure appreciate it, sir. Well, I'm just super excited to get into this conversation that we are about to have. You know, I just, when I see a fine brother and, you know, he's doing some things in the world, just makes me excited.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, listen, looks like you're in the R&B kind of mood, smoothed out with a little hip hop appeal to it.
A little something, yes.
Yeah. So I think we can help you out with your fetish and your craving for R&B kind of dude that's, you know, easy on the eyes. I would like to make sure that we introduce properly and formally for some of you. We're introducing and we're presenting to others. His mama named him Robert Lavelle, but y'all might know this brother as the Sexy Smooth RL.
Yes. Hey, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you guys so much for having me.
I don't know if I like the idea of having another Robert on this show, but I'll take it. This one is already, you know, he already gives me a lot of problems. So,
Well, what's good, my brother? I mean, you are looking fly as always. You're looking runway ready. You know what I mean? Red carpet needs to be popping, and paparazzi need to be catching you right now, brother.
Listen, I knew I was gonna be saying Miss Constance. No offense, you know, Rob, but
no doubt.
I had to throw on something. Usually, I'm in just sweats because I work out like twice a day. I try to stay busy. So I had to throw something on today though, because I knew I was gonna see you, and you got the red on. Come on, stop.
Come on, oh man, you're looking good, brother. You are looking great, fantastic. What have you been up to these days? Where you been? We've been missing you. One of my listen, you were a part of a group that was on heavy rotation back when I had a CD player in my car. I mean, I bumped it. Hey, that was on heavy rotation. You heard me?
Thank you. That means a lot for real. But I've been, you know, it's funny because I've been behind the scenes just writing for, you know, everybody from Luther to Jaheim, Lloyd, Jay Holiday, Jamie Foxx. And most recently, me and my production partner, we did Pull Up for Lil Duval and Ty Dolla $ign. So I've been really more on the writing and production side, but I'm kind of getting the itch, and I want to, you know, put some new music out. We're doing the new Next by Nature project, which is Next and Naughty by Nature, as well as my EP's dropping. So I have so much music, and I'm ready to reintroduce myself. So yeah.
Wow, Constance, I had no idea. You know, I peeped the resume, brother, and your resume is very extensive with some hit makers and some high joints on there. So.
Appreciate it.
We talk to a lot of people who are in the culture, right? We talk to a lot of artists, and we also come across a lot of aspiring artists who, you know, they want to be on the show. And then, can you pass this message to Raheem Devon? Can you let Darren Henson know, blah, blah, blah. And now you is going to be like, oh, I saw you with RL. How do they get their craft and their art into the business? Like, I heard you're a writer, right? Lil Duval must have been bananas working with him. And then you're going to be with Naughty by Nature. Like, how does that process even start?
Well, to be honest, it's about relationships. It's about people just being around you, knowing your craft, because there's a lot of dope people, but you have to be around dope people that you want to continuously be around. You know what I mean? People that you can feel like the environment is cohesive and you guys can create together and it's harmonious, because a lot of times it could be somebody over there that's dope that we don't mesh. It just ain't gonna work. Funny thing is, and I don't really talk much about it, but we have a new next album done. Like literally, we recorded 70 new songs, but it's never coming out. It's never coming out because one of the members, he's on a different wavelength musically. He wants to do something different, which is dope. I'm glad he told us before we released it, because I honestly feel like energy is a big part of success. If you're not believing in it, you can't sell it with me. You can't, and there's nothing wrong with that. We can continue to hit the stage and feed our families and still love one another. But if you want another wavelength, that's cool. That's the same thing it can be when you're working with other dope artists. That's why you could put a bunch of dope, well-selling artists on a song and it doesn't work because it's not cohesive. They might not like each other. It might be some beef. It could be anything. But I honestly feel like God can see that. And if y'all all rocking together, then it can, and it's unified, then it can be successful.
But 70 songs,
70
songs by the time he realizes he does not want to do this. That's kind of crazy. And I know that you guys have been together. Are you guys childhood friends or how did you guys get together?
Well, they're biological brothers. Same mother. Right. And they brought me, it's a bunch of different stories that I've heard, but I was in a group. I remember meeting Tilo, who's the oldest member, and I was trying to bring him in my group. He ended up bringing his brother along. I was like, oh, I didn't realize he's dope too. Well, let me just get rid of this guy out of my group. And I brought those two in. And then my best friend still to this day, he was the fourth member, but it wasn't his passion. So he left and then it became just us three. And a lot of people don't know the NEXT stands for no one ever expected this. So when I came up with the name, I felt like, coming from the north side of Minneapolis, nobody thought it would happen. And look, see what happened.
Man, I love it. Speaking of Minneapolis, man, I know a talented cat, man. He about 5'2", used to all over the
That was
stage.
Michael Jackson did the he. Come on.
Well, I can't do
Come on, you gotta get it right.
I can't get my voice up. I had to have some tea before I do that. But up in that area, man, I don't want to turn this beautiful thing left, but you are like close to a powder keg with so many incidents happening repeatedly back to back to back to back. I mean, usually it's quiet in the Midwest, ain't a whole lot popping off. But I mean, like, where are you mentally as far as like the cats that you chop it up with, maybe, your children, nephews, like, what are you telling them in this environment where we are, especially when it comes to social unrest and dealing with law enforcement?
Well, it's scary. It's funny because we would always hear stuff like, ain't no black folks in Minnesota. Yeah. Well, they kind of showed you there's some black folks, you know what I mean? I actually went up there and met with the chief of police because I had some ideas on police reform, and I'm going to be going back and forth talking to him. It's been happening, there just weren't cameras, you know what I'm saying?
It's been happening, yes.
And I feel like the problem is what they do is they bring these police officers in from other communities to police our community, and they have no empathy or sympathy for us. They do not relate to us. So they kind of do look at us as animals. So one of the things, and I'll keep it short, is I told them, I said, what we need to do is start saying, okay, if you're new to this community, you have to get acclimated. So maybe 1 week a month or 1 weekend a month, you get paid to be at work, but you go to this community center. You go coach these youth, you know what I'm saying, whether it's baseball, football, something. Because once you get graded into a community and you feel like it's ownership for you, then it won't just be about you. I want to put you in jail. It's not just about policing. It's about protecting as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm scared. I have a 24-year-old son. I mean, I have my son's 24, my daughter is 3, and my son's back there. So it was really scary seeing, parts of my neighborhood being burnt up and things like that. But I honestly feel like all that's going to happen is we destroyed it, but we're going to build it back stronger, and we're going to own it.
Amen. I agree. And that community policing is absolutely key. I live in a town called Stockton, California. Our mayor, they just had a documentary.
I grew up in Hayward. I grew up in Hayward a little bit. So I'm in Stockton. So yeah, okay, I used to be in the Bay. Yes, okay. Yes. What? Oh, I need some round table. I need some round table pizza. I need some round table pizza, please.
y'all got that out there?
Man, nah. Nah.
But we have this young brother that's a mayor. He's like 28 years old, and they just did a documentary on HBO. We had him on the show. But one of the things that's really important here in Stockton is that they have community policing. The police chief is white, but he understands that, policing was birthed out of slave patrols. He understands the importance of policing. And if he could take that message across the country, it will make such a huge difference in how they're policing us. But they are, just like you said, Ariel, they're coming from different communities. They don't have any type of tie into the community. They don't have any type of investment into the community. So they don't care. And when you had the brother just last week that got shot 7 times times in the back. I mean, it's unreal. Yeah. Or the white militia that I've been reading about all for the last couple of days. White guy came out there, 17-year-old kid came out to Kenosha or somewhere out in Wisconsin with an AR-15, shot a couple of people, and the police just let him walk by. It is unreal that we have this type of thing that's going on in our police force, in our community, in our country.
Absolutely.
Here he is. He's back.
I don't know. I think there must have been somebody from a Trump supporter must be controlling. I heard everything you said, and you're correct. I do feel like right now, my big question to the chief was, show me one kid in the community that isn't from a law enforcement family that wants to be a police officer when he grows up. There isn't one because they feel victimized. So we have to have a new generation of police officers, because right now we can't have a bunch of cats that was punked in school and laughed at and couldn't get girlfriends and have a weapon on their arm, and now they in the academy, and now they're like, yeah, I'm getting back at the world.
Get back.
Right. So we need some of these kids to know that. I remember growing up, being a police officer was, you looked at that as honorable. Like, wow, your dad's a police officer, things like that. So we need to get back to that. And I think that if they want the view to change, then they have to change. And that's going to start with the police unions. That's what it's really going to start with.
Are you still out in Minneapolis?
Oh no, I'm in the A. I moved. It's funny because I waited till like I was at my peak, and I waited because I wanted to be home to show people, like, look, I'm still in the hood. I'm still at the park. Look, I made it. You can too, because I think the best example or the best way you can help somebody is by being an example. So I wanted you to see me like, yeah, I was just on TV. I was on MTV, but guess what? I'm right here at the barbershop with you now, baby. Look, ain't nothing different. Look, touch me. I'm just like you. You can do the same thing. But I've been in the A for maybe 15 years now.
You like it?
Yeah. Check this out.
I do.
We like it too. Tell me right now about the whole scene. When I was younger, I don't know if you go as far back as Freaknik in Atlanta. That's a long time ago. That's not where I'm going. That's not where I'm going, because there's so much beauty in it in Atlanta, especially that Lenox Mall area. But tell me, have you or have you not been to Old Lady Gang? That's my spot.
Of course, Candy's like family. I actually had my wife's birthday there one year, and then even during COVID, when it first started, Candy had a party in the parking lot for her birthday, and I wasn't going. I go nowhere. Like, even if it wasn't COVID, I rarely go anywhere. But for Candy, pretty much anything. They're opening up a new restaurant too, but she's her and Todd are two of the best people. She did something for me for a project I was working on, and I called her, and I hate asking people for anything. And I promised to goodness, I was stuttering on the phone with her. And we've known each other for years. And she said, just tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. When you're ready, give me a call. And hung up. And I texted her, here you go. And she did it. And it was like, there are certain people in this gang that will have you running around, chasing your tail and be on some industry. And I can honestly say, with all the success and the multiple businesses and all the crazy publishing checks she's getting, she is exactly the same. She's one of the coolest people in the game.
Speaking of businesses, do you have other businesses that you do besides, your writing and your singing and your producing?
Yeah, I do investments in different businesses. I try to be the silent partner, whether it's real estate, a friend of mine that I grew up with, cars. Like it's funny because I always have a dealer plate on my car, and people will be like, oh, well, what, you ain't got no car? And I'll be like, no, I own this. But everything's for sale. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't need that baby seat out, but I've learned to be a better businessman. But to be honest, I'll tell you, when I first moved to Atlanta, I lost everything. My accountant stole my life savings. So I didn't have a car for like 7 months. I was living like a hustler, money in the mattress, still fixing IRS situations because of that, because they don't care. And I had to learn how to manage money. I didn't manage a checkbook till I was probably 29. I trusted people because I was never a person to spend money. I was like always saving. But in our community, a lot of us aren't taught about having our money make money for us. We're taught, just put it in a jar, put it under the bed, do this, keep your money. And okay, keep your money, that's cool, but you have to have ways to grow your money. And I never knew how to diversify anything. And now I learned that as an adult, and I'm passing that on to my kids, you know?
Beautiful thing. I teach money management. I tell them people to grow your money and not blow your money. And I'm actually preparing to do a TED Talk, and I'm talking about that very thing because in our community, there is a huge disparity with wealth. There is, they say in the year 2053, the Black median wealth is going to be a 0. If we do not change things by 2053. And so what can we do to change that? And you're right. The education is needed. We're not teaching it in schools. We're not teaching it to our families because we simply don't know. So we have to take a concerted effort to go out there and say, hey, peep game, in a way that they understand.
Right.
And it's not a hard thing to do, but we just have to make it palatable for them to understand so that they can do it. You got a job, we can start saving little by little. I was making at one time $250,000 a year, and I filed bankruptcy that year because I did not know how to manage my money.
Exactly. And in the IRS, they do not. They're like, okay, we hear you, but yeah, we need that. So it was me losing everything was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me because I don't know how to be a man. Because truthfully, I grew up on an itinerary from my beginning of my adulthood on. It was people doing everything. Not like I was just like an infant or anything, but it was like you put people in place that you trust, and I could focus on being creative and being the machine and doing what I do. But at the same time, I use finances as everything. Oh, I made you mad. Let me buy you something. I didn't know how to show empathy or to, be emotional and do things that didn't have anything to do with buying somebody something. And I had to learn that. And you find out who your true friends and family are when they can't call you for a bag. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because, earlier you talked about relationships, right? So 2 things I got out of what you and Constance just talked about was, having accountability for the people that are in your circle of trust, right? Even though you trust them, there still needs to be some accountability. In my business life, I had one of my mentors say, first I check, then I trust.
Right.
and I never forgot that. I never ever forgot that. And then the second thing is just with the relationships that you build, they can either help elevate you or send you to the basement real quick.
Yes.
And I know for sure you seem like to be a real genuine brother. Like, and then just like this story that you told us about 70 joints, constant 70.
That's crazy.
You know how hard it is to put 12 hot joints together, but 70. And then all of a sudden somebody said, I was thinking, I ain't really feeling this. Like, what?
Look, he would have done it, but the way I view things for me now, if I thought the way I used to, I'd be disappointed.
You'd be pissed off.
Once you put expectations of how you treat people and what you would do on others, that's when you get disappointed. Yeah. And I look at it like, well, I slang those records, or which has happened before. There have been songs that the guys have been like, no, we don't want to record that record. Perfect example is whatever you want to do, love, whether it's at the, I wrote that. That was the next record. And they was like, no, we don't want it. I put it on Ideal, boom, top of the charts. So I always feel like God has a plan regardless. And it's nothing against the guys because I want them to be successful in whatever they do. My favorite saying is, I wish you well, I just wish me better. Ooh. And I mean that. Listen, you can have that 2020 S560. I just want the 2021 spaceship. Like, I just want something on another level. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to go back to what you said about your circle of people around you, Lloyd, who's a good friend of mine, he's younger than me, of course, but he gave me some knowledge. He said somebody walked up to him one day and was like, man, you changed. And he looked at him and said, man, you didn't. Ooh. It's okay to evolve, and you have people around you making you feel guilty because you've outgrown certain things. They have a choice, either grow with you or you lead them where they're at. If you look at a lot of people that get in trouble, athletes, artists, it's because they go back and try to identify with the hood. Listen, I'm trying to get as far away as I can. I'll come visit.
Right.
It's all love, but I'm trying to be right in the burbs, waving to my neighbors, and that's another good thing about Atlanta is, you know, I got a retired baseball player. I have a TV director. I have a lawyer. I got different people that look like me that my son or my daughter can look at, that they don't have a microphone, which ain't nothing wrong with that. They don't have a jump shot, which I wish I did. I wish I was 5-6 feet tall. Listen, okay, I wish, but they can see that with hard work and dedication, you can do anything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And, you know, being that you're from Hayward, you know that we don't have that type of community out here. So I'm sure that's always.
I used to be at Oak Tree Sweat with Sweet Jimmy's. Let me see. I used to be over there East Mount Mall. My mother's. Well, my cousin had a hair salon called Chocolate City Hair Designs out there. So I used to I used to really be out there. Chewy Gomez on the radio. I love it. My dad used to be at the track, Golden Gate, Bay Meadows. We play the ponies.
What?
Man, I'm really, listen.
You are made for real.
We live by Southdale. We live right by, Southland Mall. Southland Mall. Yeah.
So do you have any influences from the Bay? Like any Bay Area influencers that influence your music or your sound?
Well, yes. I'm influenced by everything, but my cousin is Philip Bailey. So I'm influenced by him. Yeah. So yeah. But I used to listen to, my dad would have on the Quiet Storm and jazz all the time. And I would listen to, I grew up pretty much on jazz. And the funny thing is, whenever a check comes in, I always tell my wife, I send her a text, well, we going to Sizzler. Ain't no Sizzler out here, but she know about Sizzler because the Bay.
That's real.
So you ain't said hella yet. So I'm surprised you ain't said hella. Nothing.
Hella, I gotta keep it proper because let
me tell you this.
Hella love it. Oh, I say it to Robert. He knows.
I didn't know what the hell hella meant for a minute, because hella is so, you can put it in any sentence almost. And by the 15th time I heard her say hella, I was like, what are you saying? What does that mean? Hella.
He's from the East Coast, so he's not up on it. He ain't up on the bass lane.
I'm up on it now because you have school. What it means.
Hella, yes.
So I got it. So speaking of hella, I mean, you are hella talented, and you got
hella
bunch
dope
of cats that you have dealt with. I read your EPK, and you were with jokers like Genuine and writing the Best Man, the joint that they did. And I think about like groups like New Edition. I think about groups like The Temptations. I think about groups like Guy and Blackstreet. And somewhere along the line, something happened. And to your point, like, they are not equally yoked. They're not aligned. Like, if you had to figure out, what is it? Is it the music? Is it the fame? Is it personal stuff? Is it just what is a common thing that seems to kind of make cats just go in different directions?
Well, I'll say this. Me and my group, we did that for a minute. And I see other groups that are my favorites that have broken up. And I feel like I look at the Rolling Stones and they hate each other. And they go get their bag, though. It's about handle business. And I think that once we realize that that business needs to be taken care of, we can figure out, the friendship, if it's going to be there. But there's no reason that you can't dislike a coworker and still go get that bag. Yeah. I do feel like there's two things. One, it could be women sometimes. The second thing is this: money magnifies who you truly are. I mean, so when you ain't got bread, you might not say as much, but people can see it come out here and there when it's Fridays. Every other Friday when you get that check. Now imagine constantly getting one. Now you can be who you truly are. And then what happens I'll give you an example with us. Okay, we're a group. We move in separate cities, maybe separate states. So now you have a whole new circle of friends that don't really understand the significance of our relationship. They don't understand how we joke. So I might say something smart to you that I've been saying for 10, 20 years. And somebody be like, yo, I can't believe he said that. So now he's in your ear. Then somebody's in my ear. And all of a sudden there's these wires crossed. And if us three get in a room by ourselves, we'd be laughing about it, but we haven't because we're separated now with all these different circles of friends that weren't there. They don't understand the struggle and us putting pennies together to get wardrobe. So they don't understand our dynamics, but they're new. And now we're closer to these guys. So there's these people coming in between doing this. So that's really what happens.
But RL, okay, let's keep it real. You were the superstar of the group. You were.
I can't say
you were the lead singer. I mean,
I know. But listen, Constance, I'm gonna be honest. This is what happens when you minimize somebody's contributions. Then what happens is drama starts occurring because everybody should feel important because nobody knows what happens behind the scenes. I've never said lead singer. People be like, well, can we say lead? And I'd be like, nah, because truthfully, you can lead in different ways. For me to be able to do my job every night on stage and to do the stuff I do on these songs, it took them sacrificing and doing other things. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just as talented. I get what you're saying, and there's always a person in the front. The hardest part for me was there's usually the face, there's usually the voice, there's usually the writer. What happens when that person ends up somewhat being the same person,
right?
But we split it evenly 3 ways. Everybody ate, we continue to eat. So what I've always tried to do, and I learned this because I didn't know this before, I would go get a new watch, got a new publishing deal. And your mama said, you act like you ain't used to nothing. Well, I wasn't. So I'm coming around like, yo, check this out. Look at this. And I'm thinking they're going to be happy for me, but they might not be. And I didn't understand that dynamic. I didn't understand having to lift others up.
Because you're like, we all eating.
Exactly. But I learned that. So now I walk into a room and I'm the smallest person in the room. I make the Uber driver, whoever, feel more important because I had to learn that. And that was the biggest mistake of my career early on. I didn't understand how to make myself, not necessarily shrink myself per se, like in a bad way, but to make myself smaller to make other people feel as important as they really are.
Humility. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, to your point, my thing is from the outside looking in, you are all 3 of those 3 things, the face, the voice, and the writer. I mean, you were the standout. Everybody's looking at RL. I mean, and that's just the real of it. So there had to be some sort of, jealousy in the background. And I'm not trying to put any drama out there, but I can understand when, just like on the New Edition story, Ralph was like, hey, I'm not trying to be, but everybody's pushing you out there because you are the voice. You are the one that everybody's looking for. So that has to be an awkward space for you to be in.
What I'll do is I'll be honest, and I try to be as open as I possibly can, and I don't tiptoe or tap dance or anything. Listen, I'm not gonna be on here and be like, yo, such and such is whack. I've seen it. I get my heart. I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm just playing. What I will say is, I love you, big bro. D, I love you, big bro. But listen, I will say that what happens is, okay, people will ask me, when did you decide to go solo? They'll say stuff like that, right? And the truth is, before I get to the truth, I say, I got a 3-year-old. She'll be like, I want to be a doctor one day. I want to be a singer another day. I want to be a dancer, actress. Well, as dad, I'm going to try to make sure she can be all those things because I want her to get to heaven and Jesus to look at her and go, you use every ounce of blessings that I gave you. And I want to do the same. And I used to feel guilty about wanting to try different music, do different things, be in different groups. And the truth is about the solo stuff, we were the only group out when Clive was ousted from Arista to go to Jay. We had the No One Record out. We had Wifey out. We was the only group on Arista with an album out at the time. So we had a choice. LA was coming in. We had a meeting scheduled with LA, and then like a week later, a meeting scheduled with Clive. We meet with LA, and I was super happy. I'm like, it's a brother. But we get in the meeting, and we're the only group with an album out, and he didn't know any of the songs on the album. So he hadn't done his research, which he was busy, but now I'm looking back, this man's taking over this big old company. I understand. But back then, as a kid, pretty much it's like, dang, he don't even care. He don't care about us. That's how we looked at it. Clive flies us out to his crib. We eating cold soup with gazpacho. It was nasty as hell, whatever it's called. And he has the whole staff that had, brought us up and groomed us there saying, we're starting a new situation. We want you to come with us. We decided to be loyal. We were told that whatever decision we made, they would still promote our album on both labels. So it would be like a even better.
That's huge.
So we leave, go with Clive, and I get a call from the radio PD in Detroit going, yo, is the label mad at you? And I'm like, no, why? They called us and told us to stop playing your new single and to play Pop Your Collar by Usher, which was a record that they ended up throwing away that they didn't even use. So I go back to Clive like, listen, we need to put out a new next album. He's like, it's 4 months old. It's impossible. But I'll give you more money than you ever had in your life.
Oh, wow. And
you can work on your album. Wow. So I couldn't say no. Like it was like an opportunity. And I'm like, word. So I even went to LA and recorded my album in LA because that's where my group members live. So I could be around them. And KG, who discovered us from Naughty by Nature, I made sure he didn't do one song on the album. And the real reason why is because me and him created that next sound. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to create that again for me where people go, oh, we don't need them. Okay, we got you now. Forget them.
Yeah.
But what I did do for Kay was he comes to LA, we go for a ride. I hand him a check for $100,000 and said, thank you, man, for nothing.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I never wanted to do a solo album. I grew up with low self-esteem. I tried to kill myself my senior year in high school. So I always wanted to be around my brothers. And the respect that I have for my group members, they're my big brothers. Even though we're not related, they've taught me and groomed me so much that the respect, even if we never sang another record together, if they called me and needed something, it's whatever.
Wow. That says a lot about who you are, brother. I mean, kudos to you. God, I mean, that goes a long way. God is definitely, I'm sure he blesses you in your whole life just because of your heart. And everybody doesn't have that. And I'm sure that in this industry, you've seen a lot of nastiness, a lot of cutthroat. Yeah. So just to be able to maintain that humility and have that heart that you have.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell you something. I've met a lot of jerks in this industry, but my favorite man that I've ever dealt with in this industry, actually, like I write most of the records I've done. I didn't write The Best Man. Jimmy and Terry did it, and I didn't write We Can't Be Friends. Montel Jordan wrote it. Him and Shep Crawford produced it. And Montel Jordan is one of the best people that I've ever met. And so, I always try to say that because, this industry gets a bad rap. And there are a lot of cats out here that's shiesty. But if you talk about a stand-up dude that I aspire to be more like him, how he is and how he walks in his faith, he's probably the best. He's one of the best men in this industry.
Genuine
good stuff. I love it. Well, listen, I heard that you don't want to shine your light because you don't want to overshadow anybody. So I want to not shine my light because I can really sing, Constance. I know you can blow up the tune real quick. So I'm saying though, like what joint you want me to like beatbox, and then I'm gonna let you this one time have the spotlight because I don't really want
we can't be friends because I'm still in love with you to just act like we never were, to come around and not show her how dare we grieve by shaking hands just months ago. Constance, I was your man, was your man. There you go.
He got that turnaround too, boy. Do you have a influence, gospel influence?
Most definitely. My favorite singer is Jay Moss.
How did I know?
Jay.
How did I know?
Yeah. Jay, good dude.
Oh my God. So are you in? Because I know everybody wanted to know if you and Deborah Cox were dating. That.
Oh no.
Right? People ask you that.
Well, she's not saying she's much older than me, but she was more of a veteran than me. And she's the first, now you go on Instagram, you see such and such fit, all these fit models. She was the first woman that I saw that looked like she was from Wakanda before Wakanda, with the beautiful muscular arms. She took care of herself. And I was in awe when I met her. So I was a fan. She was the first thing that I did outside of Next. And I was scared. And it's funny because that last scene, Little X actually directed the video and I had to cry. And I was so in awe. I would try to laugh because I was immature. I would try to joke with her because I probably was crushing a little bit, but her hubby would be right there like a hawk, like right. So he basically was like, Lil X was like, I need y'all to go somewhere dark. I need this scene. And besides that scene where we gazed into each other's eyes, whenever we were around each other, we just be laughing because I was so, like I'd be like a schoolgirl, all that like super immature. But I was a fan of hers, and I felt like I really had to match her. I couldn't match her, vocally per se, because she's so crazy with it. But I had to just match her intensity on the record, and I just appreciate the opportunity of her even letting me be on that joint.
But that was one of the most, probably in the top 5 beautiful duets that have come out.
I'm mad at her because we only performed it once. It was like on the Lady of Soul Awards. Really? And every time I would see her performing with Kenny Lattimore, I'd be pissed. And I'd be like, I feel like the 5 Heartbeats. How does it feel to be me? Like never be that again. Right. That's man, I love Kenny, man, but I'd be like, man, that's my soul.
Man. So listen, for everybody watching right now, this is RL up next. He is so talented.
I'm in love.
So make sure that you share this out. Make sure you give us some hearts and some likes. Share it out. Tell a friend. Tell your mama and them that Aura L is in
Aura.
Yes, right. Aura L.
The building. So we love it. And I think it's time right now, Constance, to switch to the part that everybody loves. RL, we call this I really wanna
know.
Okay.
Is you ready?
Is you ready? Go for it.
So let me come right at your neck real quick. You a fan of Versus?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I'm a fan of celebrating the music. I know that it's a disadvantage for some artists because truthfully, it's Black Twitter that's on there commenting and all that, and they're brutal. And I'm scared of Black Twitter. Listen, this cancel. There's no grace in this game at all. They will cancel you. It's over. So people always say what you do, and they be like, "Well, next ain't got no records." But the truth is, we went pop, so we went a different level in a different direction.
Yeah.
So some of the records that we would play that were probably bigger than the other artists that we might go against won't have the same impact because it reached a different audience. So for us, it wouldn't. It's not advantageous. Yeah, I could get up there and play records I wrote for other artists and features, the Tupac, different stuff, but I would be scared to do it. I like watching the comments and being a fan of the music. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Hold still, Constance. Hold on. I didn't ask my question yet. So he gave us the diatribe. You know, that was a nice, kinder, gentler answer. I asked you if you watch Versus. Check the box. So the last joint was Monica and Brandy.
Oh,
right. Remember that? Okay. So right now, tell the world. If I gave you, I gave you 3 stacks. That's with 5 zeros behind it, 6 zeros behind it. And I said, you can write a song, produce it, promote it, whatever you want with this gift. But I need you to do a duet with either Monica or Brandy. Who you choosing? And don't be scared, because we really want to know.
No, it's Brandy. It's Brandy. It's just because our voices are scratchy. It just fits. It has nothing to do with if I think one is better. It would be.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Brandy. We both got that raspiness.
Yeah, y'all both got that raspiness. That would be dope though.
Because I got an A. Might be.
Yeah, she right. And she know my lady. But what's crazy is I actually have a record that I'm waiting on Coco to do her vocals on for my album. So
really,
I sampled SWV.
SWV, yeah.
I sampled them, and she been having the files, but then COVID hit. But she promised me that she would do it, so I'm just waiting on that.
Who was that said Coco was one of the best singers in the game? I forget what R&B singer said that. He said she's one of the best. I mean, her voice is just incredible.
It's crazy.
It's unique, and people forget that. And I think that's the thing. People forget how dope somebody is. But the good thing is, when live concerts come back, they'll go into a show and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know that she was like that or he was like that." That's the fun part. When you jump on that stage, ain't no auto tune, ain't no studio equipment gonna save you. Now show me something. Yeah.
So I know you're married. And so Rob asked this question. So ask the barbershop. I can't quite ask it like you. So you ask that question for me, Robert.
So here it is. Aura, I know you've been in the barbershop because we've all had that experience. And you find out news you can use, you get entertainment and comedy all at the same time.
Right.
But there's a young lady in the distance walking in, and she is the one. And I want you to describe what she looks like, the one walking into the barbershop.
Okay. Red dress.
Red
dress.
Mm.
I'm just red dress.
Right side. Red bone.
I'm gonna be honest. At this, when I was younger, I'd be like, okay, she got fatty. But as I'm more seasoned, I'd have to converse with her first, because truthfully, I see a lot of chicks that seem pretty, but literally, I hate to say it like this, but right after is when you realize how pretty they aren't. Like, literally, when something leaves your body, something comes into your head. Like, what am I doing? Where am I at? What am I?
You are such a man.
So realistic. No, I'm telling you, so I would have to. Your conversation, what's going on? Like, what's up with you? Who you here for? You getting your son's haircut? Is his daddy crazy? You know what I'm saying? Y'all still messing around? There's a bunch of questions I'd have to. Are you got a little fade in the back? You getting lined up? You got some lines on it? What we doing? You know, so what do you do for a living? Because see, I don't need an all-star, but I do need a teammate. You know, just a couple rebounds, box out, hand me the Gatorade when I come to the bench. You don't have to score a lot of points. I just need that, you know, Rodman, you know what I mean? Just box out, hard screen, and we can get the championship together. So I need to know more about you. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that's the reason why so many relationships don't work, is because you don't have that teammate. You don't have that team member, and you don't have to be on the same level, but you got to be going the same direction. You got to be, so that's a beautiful thing. As I'm getting to really understand RL, you are just such a beautiful person. And I just see so much growth and so much integrity, and your spirit is just, and your energy is just awesome. So
appreciate it.
Kudos to you. All right, my turn or your turn, Rob? Because you asked my question.
Damn, after you just.
No, but I love it.
I'm just uncomfortable. Do I need to leave or?
No, I love it because he said, well, one of a man thing was when something leaves your body, then y'all start a little bit.
All your senses come back.
But what's funny is you pick somebody for the wrong reason, and y'all don't connect on other levels, don't like the same thing. So then you just be next to somebody feeling lonely, and that's the worst feeling in the world, when you're right there with somebody, but you're super alone. You know what I mean? And everybody's been there. And the funny thing is, women think guys only want one thing. That's not true. Sometimes after we got that one thing, we see more clearly and realize those other things might not be attributes that you have. Not meaning you're not a good person. You just might not be the person for me.
Absolutely.
So I think that sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's real.
All right. So say you woke up tomorrow as the opposite sex. What would be the first thing you did?
Ooh. Become a lesbian. I mean, I'd already be one, I guess. So I guess I'd be born that way. But I guess I'd be born that day, because it'd be waking up tomorrow, I'd be born, right? So I'd listen. Hey, sorry.
Yeah. So hey, listen.
Body parts? Would you take out your body parts? Would you go look at it in the mirror? Like what?
You know what? Probably not. I'll be so spooked out, but I'm just man. Nah, listen, I'm in the A, and to be honest, I understand what it means to be hit on somewhat by a fella.
Yeah.
You know, but then all of a sudden I'm hit on by heterosexual man. I'm sure it'd be totally different, and I wouldn't even be super, you know what I mean? Like, I can deal with anybody. Like, you know, I got homies that are bisexual, gay, whatever. I don't care what you like, you know, as long as we understand, look, this is what I like. You can like, you know, we cool, come on through, we watching the game. Do whatever you do. There's no issue with that. I like what I like, and even if I was a woman, I'ma still like what I like. So I'm on somebody's Plenty of Fish somewhere, something trying to, how you doing, lady? Looking for ladies?
Wow. Big game. That's real. So I got one for you. So I'm a big hip hop head, and so is Constance, right? And usually I'll ask my normal question about Biggie and Pac, but I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna keep it in the NY. Right. I
had a record deal for rapping first. I was a rapper first.
Shut up.
Oh, really?
Okay. So I'm straight hip hop head. But go ahead, let's do it.
Okay. Well, let me give it. You got bars too. Okay. Well, here it comes.
Let's hear it.
So I heard you say SEC F550. I mean, so you pushing something European, right? And I know you have moved away from stunting just for show, but if it just happened to be a really nice Saturday in ATL post-COVID, and you got to choose one joint or one artist to pump all day while you out cruising. Okay. You can play their whole catalog, but it's just this one artist. You can only choose Jigga Man or Illmatic Nas. Who you bumping all day fronting? You know everybody gonna see you. Pull up Lennox right there by the Nike shop and the little valet joint.
That's easy. Jay, because Jay has a larger catalog. So if I got to play you all day, it's Jay. I like Jay Slick Talk. I love Nas. People be like, yo, you and Nas looking like y'all both got raspy voices. That's cool. I love Nas. He's a great dude. But it would be Jay. That's easy. I'll probably be stuck on Reasonable Doubt though.
Oh,
yeah.
Classic.
All right, I got one. What is one feature or the best feature that you like on the opposite sex?
Well, I'm a hands and feet person. So if I'm with a girl and she has like a chip on her toenail, it's gonna bother me. Like I grew up in a hair salon. My mother, was a cosmetologist. So I look at, because I feel like if you take care of the littlest things on you, I mean your house clean, I mean your whole body clean. So I look for those little, signs. I also look at hair, but besides that, teeth. You know what I'm saying? Because if your teeth got stuff, oh my God, teeth. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. So when you think, I'm going to take you off because somebody going to talk to you like, yeah, I heard all that stuff you were saying to that lady.
Oh, I ain't tripping. Ask me whatever. I'm good. And such and such is what, I ain't going to do that no more.
Nah. I ain't even going to do that. Shout out to Damian Hall, Black Street, Teddy Riley. Got love for everybody. Situations happen, and Constance, I said what I said. I understand. It's real. I mean, it's real life. But we are about promoting positivity, community, and raising the culture more than anything, and making sure that we show Black excellence. But I'm gonna take a page away from that for one quick second to ask you this question. So you got your favorite vacation destination. I'm sure you've been all around the world. So post-COVID, where you taking that special somebody, the family, or the missus? Like, I mean, scenic joint. Best of.
It's probably two places. It'd probably be Amsterdam or Australia. I love Australia because it's super clean, and I like Amsterdam because there's a darkness and there's a dirtiness. They got the stuff that people can do, but if you take your lady there and you can be around that and you don't indulge in that, but you can be turned on by seeing what's going on out there, and then go back to the hotel, to the suite, and do what you do. So those are two places. I'm not really, my old lady, she fair skinned, so she like going tanning and all that. And I'd be like, what's that gonna do for me? I don't need that. So, she want to sit on the beach and things like that. I'm just not a big beach person per se. I like activities, but indoors. I had allergies growing up and I didn't know because back then you didn't go to the hospital unless you was bleeding or something was broken. You know what I mean? So I was like 22 when I found out I was allergic to a bunch of different things. And I wish I had known, because there was a retared police officer that lived across the street. He would take the kids to play golf. And I went out there one time and sneezed the whole time and never came back. Hell, I could have been the next Tiger Woods. You know what I'm saying? My mama had taken me and got my allergy test.
Yeah.
Come on, moms. Come on, Black moms out there. Take your kids to the doctor.
Right.
All right, I have one. If you died and you can come back reincarnated as anyone or anything, what would it be?
Myself, because there's so many things that I didn't accomplish that I wish I had known then that I know now. I mean, I love who I am. There's things that I would love to change, but the worst part is looking back at the smallest things that if somebody had taught you or you knew better, you would have done better. So truthfully, there are just certain things and maybe even certain people that I wish I would have treated a little differently, making mistakes, whether it's being immature, being young, making assumptions about things. Just the knowledge that I've gotten over the years, it's hard to say, okay, I'm 43, I'm an OG, but I respect that and I'm glad because of all the things that I've weathered and come out of the storm the way I have. But I realized that life could have been a lot better if I had known certain things that I know now.
That's good. And let me and so the second part of that question, or to ask a question based upon what you just said, if there was a certain thing, one thing that you can delete from your life, what would it be?
That's the hard part because I've had pain. It'd probably be my divorce. And it's only because I feel like a lot of men feel like if I do right and I treat you right, you'll be right by me. But there's a whole new generation of women that started coming, I think when I was a little younger, that had seen probably their moms and other women go through things and they go, I'm not going to be doing this and doing that. And I would always say women want dudes like their dad, but aren't half the woman their mom was. So like, I'm not going to be cooking and cleaning. I'm not going to be doing this and that. Well, I'll do that too. Or you want me to pay the mortgage and you do this part and we do. And I was hurt and she stepped out on me with a dude I hung with. I sang at his wedding reception, an athlete. And it was the most, not only are you hurt, but you're embarrassed. And then the hard part is when all of a sudden she moves on and she's happily married with kids and doing her thing, not with that guy, but with somebody else. And you're alone and you're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm I'm suffering. I think that a lot of women deal with that too, where they see a dude that ain't nothing and did them dirty and drugged them, and now he happily with such and such. Well, guys go through that too, and I think that was probably the one thing I would erase. Not necessarily, and I don't mean to be down on that person, because I think everybody needs to go through something, and I think maybe I was the thing she needed to go through. I just wish I wasn't somebody else's lesson. So I'm not saying she's a bad person now, but I think that it took her to hurt me for her to realize and become probably the great wife she is for somebody else. And that pain for me, it made me take a step back, and I probably hurt some women because of that pain.
But look at your thought process, and look at how you transform that experience into something that's positive. A lot of people don't do that, and so again, that just says a lot about you.
Yeah, pain.
I want to be petty sometimes, but I'm learning to let go. That's my thing for during this pandemic, is what's something that you can improve. Yeah, I want to improve my body and songs, but I want to try to get rid of that hate in my heart. I want a blood transfusion from Jesus. I want to get this hate out my blood. You know what I'm saying? So I try to look at things in a different way.
And it's about being intentional about that thing too. And it seems like you're intentional about that transformation that you want in your life. So that's amazing.
I love it. So last one, RL, and then we'll let you get out and do your thing.
Thank you.
We are certainly about paying it forward. So right now I'm going to give you an opportunity to give us your top tree. I'll take it from hip hop to R&B.
Top tree.
Your top tree. I mean, no diss to nobody, but pick the category however you want, vocally, top joints, fire, acts, whatever. I just need your top three. Shout out another brother. Obviously he will, or they will see it, but in the eyes of RL.
Okay, well,
R&B cats.
Okay, in R&B, it would be, it's not really, it's gospel, but J Moss, of course, he's one of my favorites. I'd have to just say him because vocally and production-wise, everything he does. Jodeci, of course, heavy influence. I'm gonna have to give you two more. I have to.
It was 5.
Okay, so I'll go to the ladies. I like some of the newer artists. Her name is Tiffany Gaucher. She's from the Bay, matter of fact. Super dope.
Is Andrew Gaucher's Andrew the bass player?
It probably is. She's super cold. She's I've heard stuff and the things that she does. I'm totally inspired. And there's a guy named Lucky Day, younger cat. I'm not that OG in the game looking at these younger cats like hating. I love seeing them, grow. And lastly, I got so much love for Tank because I think that he should have been bigger a long time ago. And I know that he was shelved because of label situations for years, and he kept going and kept going. So all of the success he's getting. And my favorite R&B cat is Joe. Like Joe is the coolest, smoothest. But I go to the first album. I'm in love, round and round I go, out of control. I'm in love. Yes. And it's funny. We did a calendar. We had to do a calendar when we first came out, and for my birthday month, it had my favorite food, favorite this, favorite that. And it was back when he was probably on his second album. It still said my favorite singer was Joe. So it's crazy.
And you know who I'm surprised that you didn't pick, and you've written music for him. He's now deceased. Luther.
Well, yeah, I like Luther, but I like Luther's tone, and I'm from the church, so really it's not riffs and range. I think he just was so smooth with it that, and he's a ladies' man. That's it ain't that I don't like the records, and it is before my time a little bit. I didn't ride around the whip, listening to Luther. Not saying that I didn't like him. That'd be like me saying Sade or something like that, where I listened to it with my mother and I was influenced by it, but if you're asking me about what I'm putting on when a lady come by, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be Joe or Tank or Jodeci or something like that. It ain't gonna be J Moss unless it's Sunday morning and we praying.
Yeah, J Moss can get it, boy.
Yeah, he comes from a very talented family.
You know what, Constance? I'm surprised you didn't ask this. We do have to get out of here, but you should have asked this brother to sample you a jingle, because we are looking for somebody to say, for every situation, there is a conversation. Conversation starters live. I mean, that would be so.
For every situation, there is a conversation. Conversation live. Conversation starters live.
RL, we love you. We appreciate you.
Constance and ROB. Conversation starters with me.
Bam!
Yes. Yes. Come on, I'm on my way to ATL. You ready to go, Rob? You ready to go?
That's right.
All right,
I'm hella ready. Let's go.
You cooking? You cooking?
No, you said hella. You better give me some Jack in the Box or something. Like, what are we doing? Like,
hey, he was out here and he was like, "What's Jack in the Box? Y'all ain't got no Jack in the Box out there."
I ain't never heard of.
I need that round table pizza.
Come on,
man, something. Woo!
Come on, RL. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. We sure appreciate you, brother. You are amazing.
I want to tell you guys, I've been in this game 23 years, and I didn't understand it, younger in the game. But for you to allow me on your platform like this and to introduce me to your audience is a blessing. And I honestly am honored and am super thankful for y'all even taking the time to talk to me, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people that would be dying to come on here right now and use your audience. So honestly, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, RL.
Well, real quick,
your new project.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody? Yeah. What? Tell us what your new project is and how can we reach out, support you, pump your joints, and give you love.
Well, I'm Just RL everywhere, and the site will be it's justrl.com. But I have an EP that will be dropping probably within a week or so. It's called the Letter J, where I sampled Jodeci, John B, and Janet Jackson. And what's funny was I was just going to throw it out, but PJ Butter, amazing DJ in LA, played the first single back-to-back 5 times. It's a Janet sample, the record. It's called Get to You. And Jimmy Jam happened to be listening. He's the original producer of the record. Yeah. He reached out to me like, I'm watching you. So I was like, you know what? Maybe we need to really release this song. So he said, send it to me. What you want to do, little bro? And it's God works in mysterious ways. So the EP, which I'm giving away, is called the Letter J. We just shot the first video. We're going to be shooting videos for each record. And after that, it's the Next by Nature project and then the album. So yeah, I'm coming.
So Next by Nature, you're not going to be doing it with the group, but I know it's going to be with Naughty by Nature.
It's going to be with the group. It'll be with the group.
Oh, okay.
The group. Listen, I want it all. Listen, I'll sing Happy Birthday at the funeral. I also have I have WQRL, which is Wingo from Jagged Edge, Q Parker, and myself. We have a whole album done that we never put out. So I just want to do music, as much music as possible. God has given me a gift, I feel, and I want to use it as much as I possibly can. So we'll see. It's a bunch of music.
This brother is working.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
On me, I put in work. Well, listen, once again, my friends, my name is Robert Antwin, and along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And you heard it live here on Conversation Starters Live. We had the talented, sexy brother, Sexual Chocolate, Brown Sugar, Mr. Caramel, Robert
Lavelle.
Mama call him. Name him Robert. I'm gonna call him Robert.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm not saying that no more because I don't want to get it. My mama. Kept talking about my mama. But really seriously, y'all, we want to let y'all know that for every situation, we do believe
there is a conversation.
#Conversation
Starters Live.
We love y'all.